Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Trail Mix, where the nuts might be a little stale, but the company is always fresh.
Craig Crawford here, retired journalist working for nothing but the truth and Social Security checks. It's the day after Christmas, and so I don't know if we're going to have a lot of chatters today, but I'm here, barely. I've been doing a lot of heavy-duty, nerdy techno stuff with HTML code. Ooh, that is some scary stuff. We'll get over here on the Trail Mix. Let's get Trail Mix up here on the screen. This morning, we can always count on Pat D, but this morning I got a little busy. I put some work into Trail Mix today and put something up. I can't say I put a whole lot of work into it, but what I've got here is Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel. This was strange, wasn't it? I mean, he went over on. I guess I need to move my microphone a little closer. He went over. Oh, I want to put the comments up here. If you got comments, I've got you on the screen. If you want to put a comment, if you're on the YouTube page, and so Jimmy Kimmel goes over. Well, no, he didn't go over there. I guess he taped it here. He gave a speech to the British people. Jimmy Kimmel. They have a thing over there on one of their channels, an alternative Christmas message. You know, the Queen always did. Now the King gives a Christmas message. That's a big tradition over there. I actually always watched Queen Elizabeth. It was kind of a big part of the Christmas tradition for me. And so Jimmy Kimmel got on, and they asked him to do this alternative Christmas message to the British people. We've got it. We put it here on Trail Mix this morning. I put it up as the thread because I thought what he had to say was just so interesting, and I agree with it. But I could see where a lot of people are going to have a big problem with it. I already know some people that did. I mean, like here's some of the, I'll just read one quote here that kind of the teller is: from the free press to science to medicine to judicial independence to the actual White House itself, we are a right mess. Put it in kind of British talk there. Jimmy Kimmel told the British TV viewers he apologized for any effects on their country and urged them, don't give up on us. Anyway, I'll let you hear it for yourselves. I guess I could pull it up, maybe make the screen a little bigger. We're still getting used to a lot of this technical stuff. It looks like you can see that fairly well, even on the little portrait, the little phone screens. Anyway, here it goes. We'll play it.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Kimmel. I have no idea if you know who I am, but I was asked to deliver this year's alternative Christmas message, which I've heard is a big deal, so I hope you do. But if not, I host what you call a chat show. We call it a talk show in what you call the colonies, I think. I honestly have no idea what's going on over there. I do know what's going on over here, though. And I can tell you that from a fascism perspective, this has been a really great year. Tyranny is booming over here. You may have read in your colorful newspapers, my country's president would like to shut me up because I don't adore him in the way he likes to be adored. The American government made a threat against me and the company I work for, and all of a sudden we're off the air. But then, you know what happened? A Christmas miracle happened. Well, it was September. It was a September miracle. But the holiday does seem to come earlier and earlier every year, doesn't it? Millions and millions of people stood up and said, no, this is not acceptable. People who never watched my show, people who were on record saying they hate my show, spoke out They marched. They did this all to support the right to a free expression of speech. And because so many people spoke out, we came back. Our show came back stronger than ever. We won, the president lost, and now I'm back on the air every night, giving the most powerful politician on earth a right and richly deserved bollocking. That's a word, right? I used it properly. And the reason I'm telling you the story is because maybe you're thinking, oh, a government silencing its critics is something that happens in places like Russia or North Korea or LA, not the UK. Well, that's what we thought. And now we've got King Donnie VIII calling for executions. It happens fast. You know, it's funny. We Americans are very proud of not having a king. It's kind of why we left. Earlier this year, tens of millions of us marched at protests called No Kings. You had some of those there. And just for the record, we have nothing against your king. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but his son lives here. Some of us just have a problem with the guy who thinks he is our king. Here in the United States, right now, we are both figuratively and literally tearing down the structures of our democracy, from the free press to science to medicine to judicial independence to the actual White House itself. We are a right mess. And we know this is also affecting you. And I just wanted to say, sorry. And we want you to know, or at least I want you to know, that we're not all like him. We're not all like that. I know from the musical Hamilton that our countries didn't start off on the greatest note. But I also know from seeing Love Actually that we have a special relationship. So if I might speak on behalf of my country, which I most certainly do not, our message to you, our friends across the pond this Christmas, is don't give up on us. We're going through a bit of a wobble right now, but we'll come around. It may not seem like it, but we love you guys. We even love the things about you that you don't like Simon Cowell, for instance. We are not bright. We're Americans. No one knows better than you. We're always just a little bit late to the game. But do we come through in the end? Maybe. Give us about 3 years, please. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for Spider-Man. Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
I'm not sure I really understood what he meant by Spider-Man. Maybe somebody could explain that to me. Anyway, I can't get my earbuds working today. I don't know if that's going to affect anything or not. But I'm going to take a look at more of what's going on here on Trail Mix today. You know, I'll make this full screen. Maybe it'll be a little easier to see. Yeah, that's what I put on first today. And then, yeah, and Pat D had a nice little Christmas message yesterday. This was yesterday.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry
Day after.
Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Still applies on the day after
Happy
Christmas.
New
Oh, we got
Year.
Happy New Year
Tidings we
coming
bring.
up. So that's kind of fun. Anyway, we'll go over here and see what else everybody's talking about today on Trail Mix. Come down here. You know, you get on the page, trailmix.cc. Come down here and you click the comments button. You can see what everybody's talking about. Oh, yeah, Pogue, he's up in New York today, but I guess he was up early. Pogue was up at 5:05 a.m., looks like. And he picked up on some of Jimmy Kimmel's talk there. And we get down to, we had some stuff posted, some videos posted. And this one, I didn't see this one coming. I don't know if you did. I don't know what's going on, this Nigerian thing. I know they got a bunch of minerals that might be what they're interested in.
United States forces have launched missile strikes against the Islamic State group in northwest Nigeria. US Africa Command said they were carried out in coordination with the Nigerian authorities and killed what it called multiple IS terrorists in Sokoto State. Nigeria says it was involved in the planning of the operation, and the US military posted a video showing a missile being launched from a naval vessel. On social media, President Trump described the Islamic State group as terrorist scum and accused the group of targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians. While speaking to the BBC World Service, the Nigerian foreign minister defended the military action.
What I can confirm is a joint operation between Nigeria and the US that has targeted terrorists. It has nothing to do with a particular religion. It is, as far as we're concerned, targeting terrorists that have been attacking Nigerians, period. So it has nothing to do with one religion or another. And nor does it have anything to do with Christmas. It could be any other day. It is to do with attacking terrorists that have been killing Nigerians.
Well, I'm going to move on down the list here.
Well, our reporter in Lagos, Magwachi Okafor, is following developments.
Now, Mary,
The U.S. has
Mary Trump's
confirmed,
real
even the Nigerian
interesting,
government has
we
confirmed
need
a
to
joint
shut them up,
attack.
right? Mary Trump's been at it. Again, I have heard this story before. I guess I heard her tell it. This mashed potato story she tells is really bizarre about our bizarre president. So take a listen to this. It's pretty wild. It's I don't know what's going on with this man, if he's gotten crazier or if he's always been crazy.
Hello, everybody. It's the holidays, which means that a lot of people are going to be eating mashed potatoes. They seem to be a staple of holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas. Potatoes show up in some form or another in most holidays. Latkes, for example, which I love. So given that, I thought it was a good time to revisit a story I've told on occasion, this time with a twist.
I'm going to come back to that. And see what we got here going on in comments. Can't stop smiling. I like that kind of talk. Can't stop smiling. Screen name. Yes, this military action is justified because there's been decades of Christians being murdered by the thousands in Nigeria, and it is coming to an end because Trump's first president to do something. Now, I think we got to look at the facts, don't we? Are we sure that is what's going on right now? Have we got proof of that? Do we want to look for some proof? Can't Stop Smiling says yes, and coincidentally, all those Nigerians being attacked, coincidentally, or are all Christians. All right, if you don't mind, I would like to fire up my little helper here on these kinds of things. And this is Gemini Pro AI, it's called. And it's AI and it's called Gemini Pro. And let's just ask a question. Let's agree. Can't Stop Smiling. Can we agree on a question I want to ask the AI here? Now, this thing gives us facts. I vouch for that. It doesn't make up stuff. Why don't we ask it something like, what is going on in Nigeria with the killing of Christians? Okay, let's ask that. It's examining Nigerian. It tells you while it's working on what it's doing, which I find kind of interesting. Gathering relevant data, analyzing strategic responses, assessing conflicting narratives. And here we go. Can we see that? Can we see that on the screen pretty well? See how it looks on the phone. You got to figure out how these things look on the phone and elsewhere. Anyway, let's see what he says. Major developments that have occurred in Nigeria over the last 24 hours. All right, we know that. As of December 20th, the situation is defined by direct military intervention. Major event, U.S. strikes. We know that. What? Get to my question. All right, follow a period of intense violence, specific threats against Christian communities, kidnappings. In late November, over 300 students and teachers were kidnapped from St. Mary's Catholic School in Niger State. Okay, Christmas massacre plots, intelligence reports, and NGOs had warned of planned coordinated attacks. Then we come down to casualty estimates. Rights groups have reported 7,000 Christians killed in Nigeria, describing it as a silent genocide. And now let's get some of the perspective. That's what this thing does, is it lays out what are pretty much agreed upon facts, and then it looks at if there is any kind of disagreement from sides, what the two sides are saying. And here's the narratives. The persecution narrative is our position, the Trump administration. The Trump administration and various Christian rights groups view the violence as systematic jihadist campaign aimed at eradicating Christianity from northern and central Nigeria. And now let's see what the other narrative is. Then we'll see which one we agree with. The resource conflict narrative, the Nigerian government. Okay, this is what their government's saying. And some international analysts argue the violence is primarily a resource war between herders, mostly Muslim, and farmers, often Christian. Now, herders and farmers, I might need some help on what the difference there is. That they're fighting over land and water, exacerbated by climate change. They point out that Muslims in the north are also frequently victims of bandit violence. Okay, current status. Tensions remain extremely high, while the U.S. strikes are a show of force intended to deter attackers. Security analysts warn they could lead to retaliatory attacks. All right, well, so what do we think? Where do we stand? I think Can't Stop Smiling had a point there, and we'll watch it going forward. I guess it's apparently nobody's agreeing that people are getting killed over there. I mean, nobody's disagreeing that people are getting killed over there. It's just a question of whether it really is a genocide against Christians or something else. Get back to Mary Trump, which is what I was doing before Can't Stop Smiling came along. And this story that she was going to tell on mashed potatoes, it's kind of a wild one.
Let's start with the infamous Trump family mashed potato story. Many years ago, in a faraway place known as Jamaica Estates, Queens, a young boy of around 6 or 7 years old named Donald was engaged in his favorite activity, tormenting his little brother. In the process of tormenting his little brother, he was driving the rest of his family absolutely up a wall. His mother, who as it turns out happened to be my grandmother, was frantically trying to get dinner on the table before her husband got home. In addition to getting in her way, Donald was also making his older sisters and brother absolutely desperate, because in the process of tormenting his little brother, Robert, he was making Robert cry. Not just cry, but scream his head off. Nothing my grandmother said made a difference. Nothing his older sisters, Elizabeth and Marianne, said made a difference. Nothing his older brother, Freddie, made a difference. Donald would not stop tormenting Robert. In the midst of all of this, my grandmother's continuing
Robert's Trump's
to put the
brother,
family
who
food on the table.
died fairly young, and Apparently
the
had.
green beans,
Well, Mary herself says he had alcohol.
the pork chops. I don't know exactly what it was. What I do know
She's
she did
his daughter.
was
brother
put
of-
on the table a very
dead.
large bowl of mashed potatoes. How do I know it was a very large bowl of mashed potatoes? Well, because there were going to be 8 people sitting down to dinner. And these were meat and potatoes people. Donald wouldn't stop, and Robert became more and more hysterical. Finally, Donald's oldest brother, Freddie, my dad, the oldest of the Trump sons, came up with an idea. In order to get Donald to stop, Freddie picked up the bowl of mashed potatoes and dumped it on his obnoxious little brother's head. And a miracle occurred. Robert stopped crying. Donald stopped tormenting him. And every single person in the family started laughing at Donald. Now, you would think that would be the end of the story, but no.
That's the key point of her story is they were kids, had a dispute. One of them dumped mashed potatoes on Donald Trump's head when he was a kid, and everybody laughed at him, and it's tormented him ever since. And now she's getting into how it still torments him now, today, as an adult, decades and decades later.
Because after Freddie died in 1981, to commemorate his memory, I guess, on every holiday, every Thanksgiving and Christmas, my Aunt Marianne would tell the infamous mashed potato story. And every single time, everybody sitting around the table would laugh, except for one person. And you'll never guess who. That's right, Donald. Donald would sit there with his arms crossed and a scowl, also a pout on his face. Marianne never tired of telling the story, and Donald never stopped feeling humiliated by it. The end. Not really, though. It's funny. I've told this story very many times. I've written about it. And the last time I heard it was in 2017 when we were at the White House celebrating my aunt's birthdays. Elizabeth was turning 75 and Marianne was turning 80. And we were upstairs in the executive dining room. And Donald had exactly the same reaction he had had for the last 40 years. Crossed arms and a pout on his face. He didn't find it funny. He can't find it funny. He cannot ever find humor. He can't laugh at himself.
And I guess that's the point of her story. He can't laugh at himself. Moving on down Trail Mix, we had this little moment. I don't know how many of you saw this, but on Christmas Day, Melania and Trump got on. It was an odd visual. His staff set him up, sitting here talking on the phone to children who weren't there. They were on the phone, and he didn't seem too comfortable with it. It was kind of odd. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Hey, Jack.
Hey,
You missed. We had a big fight over Nigeria earlier, but we'll come back to that. We had a commenter come on wanting to talk about killing Christians in Nigeria. I went over and got on my AI and got some info on it. I mean, I guess there's some Christians getting killed, but it's not clear if that's why they're getting killed, because Muslims are getting killed too, because they're all fighting over natural resources like water between farmers and herders, and one of those deals. So that's what you missed.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, some people want to fight the Crusades again.
Yeah. And
But it is
my earbuds aren't working,
it's
but
a
it doesn't
mess.
seem to be affecting anything. Can you hear me all right?
yeah.
I don't know. I guess I don't need them. I thought I needed earbuds. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I hear you fine. In fact, coming in pretty loud today.
Oh,
There's time.
I actually have this microphone too close. I think this microphone's rather powerful.
Oh, okay.
But I was about to play. I love this. It's just 30 seconds. I don't know if you saw this, but Trump talking to the kids and he turned everything, you know, as he always does, and making it about. I got my C-SPAN friends to dig this up. Here he is talking to a kid about coal.
Coming down your chimney and have a beautiful present for you. What would you like Santa to bring?
Not coal.
Not coal.
Not
No, you don't want coal. Well, coal is, you mean clean, beautiful coal. I had to do that. I'm sorry. No, coal is clean and beautiful. Please remember that at all costs. But you don't want clean, beautiful coal, right?
No.
What would you
He has no clue on how to talk to kids, does he?
Well, you know, when somebody else pointed out, and I was thinking, does he have a clue how to talk to anybody?
That's true.
He's not what you call a listener.
Oh, I don't know. If I was sitting there talking to him, I'm not for sure I would look too good either. They're talking to the kid.
No, you got your fancy hat on today.
Yeah, I went and got my
You
good
going to
winter
town?
hat. Got
Is
my
that-
Stetson on.
That's what my grandfather had a hat exactly like that.
Yeah,
He called it his fancy go to meeting hat.
that's about what it is. I wear it about 4 or 5 times a year at the most. And I've not been wearing it much lately, simply because I don't go to places where I need to dress up.
Oh yeah.
But I got it out. I'm gonna do Sunday. I'm gonna do a little politicking. So
Are you?
yeah, one of the local people's running, going to try to take over one of the Republican seats here in Springfield. Got a hold of me, and because I donated to the.
Oh, you
Go.
talked about
Yeah.
her. I think you talked about her once before that you'd gone and met to talk to her or something a while back. Is that the same
Yeah,
one?
yeah. She called, and I just happened to answer the phone because it showed up with her husband's name as the ID, which is a rare thing. But it showed up, and I was thinking maybe it was my neighbor, because my neighbor had a weird name like that too. And so I answered it. And I kind of, after it was all over with, I got to laughing at myself. It's like I gave her a job interview.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
what
yeah,
I remember you talking about. Yeah.
I asked her all kinds of different things about one, how would she, being a Democrat where the Republicans basically have total control, how would she accomplish anything for this area? And then we started talking Democrat. I just started asking, well, who do you know in Kansas City? Well, she hummed and hawed, and I said, well, do you know? And I came up with the name of somebody that I knew. And said, oh yeah, and so she at least proved that she had heard the woman's stories anyway.
Huh.
That she knew her well enough to know a few of her trials and tribulations.
Well, now what is she running for?
It's the Missouri legislature is divided up into the legislature and the Senate, and the Senate only has a few people, and she's running for the Senate, and all these folks are term limited.
Is she in the House now? The state House?
She's in the House now,
Yeah.
and then basically she'll be representing all of Springfield, all of Springfield in one district
Huh.
for the most part.
And there's an incumbent in the seat.
No, I think the incumbent got term limited and it's going to be open.
Oh,
And there's a good chance Springfield is like a lot of the world, is that Springfield's turning liberal as the rest of the world's turning conservative. And
Huh.
so,
well, yeah, I think it'd be interesting to follow this, that you're involved in it and everything, just as a little microcosm of what's going on. And
well,
I'm a big believer in state. I mean, I used to, for years, I was so irritated with Democrats not focusing on state legislative races, and they're awake to that now, but but for years they just let Republicans have free reign in state. They weren't even running candidates, Democrats, especially in Florida.
Yeah, well, I think, where was it? Was it Texas that bragged about getting a candidate in every district?
Yeah. You talk about Democrats bragging. Yeah, I saw that and I thought, well, that's what you should have been doing for 30 years. I mean, congratulations, you finally figured that out.
I mean, I'll admit that, you get out here in like rural Missouri and you run most of the candidates that ever run as a Democrat are kind of what I call gadfly candidates. They're perennials that have been doing it for years, and it's just their form of entertainment.
Well, now does this person, does she have a website we can pull up and look at her?
I don't know. I looked and she didn't really have one, and that's another problem I've got. But
what's her name?
Oh, I can't.
You're not ready to reveal. You know me. I tell all.
Well, if I'd known I've been talking, I'd have looked up and got you some facts. But
well, we'll get back into that sometime. I think it'd be interesting to follow a race that you might get involved in it. And,
yeah.
Now we got somebody here. Now I'd like to ask this person, why does somebody come on this Justin O. Garcia and just write Bill Clinton? What does that mean? Is this Bill Clinton derangement syndrome at work, or is this Bill Clinton's I support Bill Clinton? Justin, if you're still there, tell us why you wrote Bill Clinton in the comment.
He's replying to something from 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know what we were talking about the Nigerians earlier, but I don't know if you followed this Nigerian thing at all. I mean, I did.
I've not read the latest news. I know there's a lot of problems with ISIS and with the Muslim fundamental.
Yeah.
They tend to just wander wherever there's a new war and go fight.
Yeah. This
Africa's where it's going on now.
I did pull up this because this isn't something I know a whole lot about. But apparently, there were kidnapped in late November. 300 students and teachers kidnapped from a Catholic school. I didn't know about that. While many were released just days before, the incident highlighted the vulnerability of, and then a Christmas massacre plot. 7,000 Christians killed in Nigeria in the first 7 months of this year alone, according to one. Now, there's one, but then there's two different narratives here. This is what I like about what this thing does. I programmed it to do this. I say, when I ask you about a story, give me the facts that are objective, and then give me at least two sides or however many sides, the point of view of the different sides on the issue, so, and we call that the narrative. And so he found two narratives here on this story: the persecution narrative, which is our position, the U.S. position, that it's persecuting Christians. And then there's another narrative, the resource conflict narrative, which is the idea that this is really a fight between, in this case, Muslim herders and Christian farmers over the access to land and water.
Okay.
And,
That last narrative makes sense.
yeah.
And yeah, it's a probably if you would go into it, you'll find they're in the middle of a big drought too.
Yeah, that also was pointed out here in this report I had got done, is that the climate change, we're back to the climate change debate, but that is a factor. It is creating a desperate search for resources.
Well, and that area is an awful lot like Arizona in that it goes through periodic bad droughts. And
yeah,
this is not the first time there's been conflict between two different groups. And you'll find the other thing is probably you'll find that the Christian, let's say and I'm going to use that label very loosely because they may not all be Christians, but the Christians and the Muslims are two different tribes too.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of that going on there.
Well, this got started because this commenter earlier, she's voicing the administration position that this military action is justified because, well, I'd played a report earlier of these attacks on Nigeria that we just did. This military action is justified because there's been decades of Christians being murdered by the thousands in Nigeria, and it is coming to an end because Trump's first president to do something. So anyway, I guess
it's not coming to an end. I hate to tell you this.
Yeah. I don't think dropping
a few bombs doesn't solve anything, or a couple of raids.
But the thing is, what I've been doing is like, I think this is kind of becoming my pattern for this, which is a good one. Is I just pull up Trail Mix and start, everybody finds so many interesting things, and so I just kind of start scrolling through Trail Mix now, and Stur's talking about the mash. I played Mary Trump's mashed potato story earlier, which somebody had posted here on Trail Mix, and Stur's responding to it here.
I just kind of looked at the headline on that one. In fact, that's all I really did was just scroll through things.
Well, I played her telling the story a little earlier, and it's a story I'd heard her tell before, and she takes 10 minutes to tell the story, but I can reduce it. Is when they were kids, real little, they had a big fight at the dinner table over something, and Donald was making a big ruckus. I think he was only like 4 years old or something. And so to shut him up, one of his brothers dumped a plate of mashed potatoes on his head. And that shut him up, but everybody laughed at him. And then that became a family story that they tell every year. And Mary Trump says that every time they would tell the story, he'd get mad, even as an adult. And that
just encouraged him to tell it more. Right?
Exactly. And then she said, when he in his first year in office, she was still in the fold, so she got invited. She went to the White House. They had a family dinner, and this is always for Thanksgiving, and so she's got an aunt that always loves to tell that story, and it's a tradition at Thanksgiving. And she told the story, and Trump got mad and stormed out of the room. And this is like 40 years later, and he's still. And her whole point is that he cannot stand, any, being the butt of a joke. He just can't handle it, and that's her whole point of the story.
How do you not learn? With his experience, how do you not learn to grin and bear it?
Yeah.
I can understand, it's one thing to be a 4-year-old and doing it.
Yeah.
Or a kid. But by the time you're 50 years old, you've run into enough situations that you should have, or maybe he never had, maybe being the rich baby, sheltered him from all that stuff.
Stir
All I do around our house is encourage the.
Oh yeah, right.
I learned young just to smile and say nothing.
And that actually prompted Stir to make a very good point that I agree with. Stir has a new name every day now. Now it stirs hysteria. Hysteria.
Yeah, well, and every time he does a post.
I like this point that he makes here, because I was there. I was at this event. I was across the room, but I was sitting fairly far away from Trump, but I could see his face well enough, and I could see his reaction. Stir was right, and I maintain that it was being humiliated at the White House Correspondents' Dinner by Obama, a black man, which resulted in stepping up and further into the actual Trump stump presidency. I agree with that. I really do think, and it connects to what we're saying. That's how petty he is. I think he actually decided to run for president because of that moment. It's the mass. I mean, basically, Obama dumped a plate of mashed potatoes on his head at that dinner.
Could be. Well, I don't know. Hey, I have given up on trying to explain Trump or understand it, or even understand why anybody, I can understand the guy here that's worried about the Christians.
Yeah.
And, and my basic thing is that he is getting his information from a Christian source that's
it's a big deal.
Probably trying to fundraise off of
I mean, the Christian groups are all worked up. I mean, they're the ones pushing him on this. The evangelical groups, absolutely. I mean, I've been seeing, and that's been going on for some time. I mean, he had the Nigerian president in the White House. This was months ago, and he started ripping into this stuff and claiming that they're killing. I mean, I think he was not just Christians, but any white people. But and the president sat there and tried to defend himself and say this isn't going on and everything. And that's the meeting where Trump was so impressed at how well he spoke English. You remember that? And the guy, he says, your English is really good. And the guy's like, well, we're an English speaking country. That's one of the great moments.
Well, I don't know what to say. I mean, here I am out here in rural Missouri thinking that I'm fairly isolated, and I end up understanding the world better than the president of the United States. And that's scary.
Yeah. Well, let's see. We got some more commenters. Let's see. Never forget Trump pardoned cop beaters. I ain't forgetting it. And thank you for reminding us, the Awesome Waffle. That's a great screen name, the Awesome Waffle. I like that. You are awesome. I agree. We cannot forget that. It's amazing. It's one of those things we've almost normalized it, but it's incredible. I mean,
all of his pardons, for the most part, are just totally unprecedented. I mean, in a way that I can't even come up with a description.
Yeah.
They're so different. Nobody else would even have thought of, you would have had to have begged forgiveness and told somebody how you had really changed and done a ton of good works to get most of those pardons from any president.
Well, and
he just hands them out like candy.
And the awesome waffle is tracking you. He's saying, never forget Trump pardoned Jake Lang, who used a baseball bat to beat up police at the Capitol. And then he goes on to add, never forget Trump pardoned Ronald McAbee, who tackled a police officer on the ground, screamed he would rip his head off, and punched the officer in the face with pleated gloves. Awesome's on a roll. He's got another one. Here's another one. Oh, is Jamie here? Oh, there's Jamie. Hey, Jamie. We're just reading a new commenter whose screen name I really like, the Awesome Waffle.
Yeah, he's got everything on cut and paste.
You're
not the only place he drops these in.
I'm all for it. He pardoned Julian Cater, who used bear spray to attack police officers defending the entrance. Yep. We care. We care, Awesome Waffle. No one cares that that's wrong. I agree that that's wrong. I do think that's worth cutting and pasting.
Well, I think the basic thing is just since they were, he pardoned things.
Victor just pardoned again.
Yeah, we're back to that. Is that the same guy that called us old farts? Is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it might be. I turned that into a whole video. And you know what? That sucker, I cannot believe the traffic that thing wound up getting.
Hey, fart jokes are original jokes, when you're a kid.
Yeah.
You don't know anything about sex, but boy, you understand farting.
Yeah.
What about the Zelensky Trump meeting on Sunday? It looks like they're wearing Zelensky down, and I hope to hell not.
Oh, you know what? You got to catch me up on that one. I noticed some headlines. I've been deep into nerdy HTML stuff all morning, so I haven't been keeping up. But what happened? What is going on?
Well, basically, it's been scheduled, and the headlines on it is Zelensky is willing to make some concessions about the area, that Putin wants to take over, and we're back to the old thing. It doesn't matter what he agrees to because Putin isn't going to do it.
Yeah. Sometimes I think Zelensky's just trying to show he's taking the high ground, and I think it's kind of like calling bluff. I think he knows Putin's never going to do a deal. He doesn't want a deal. He's never going to do a deal. I don't believe. I mean, he does not want a ceasefire. He does not. He just wants to pretend to negotiate and convince Trump he's serious.
And of course, Trump will not really do anything. He's pretty well dumped Zelensky as well, and so Zelensky needs to keep Europe on his side.
That right there, I think, is Zelensky's strategy. It costs nothing except the jet fuel to fly over for him to meet with Trump, nod and listen to Trump's ramblings and listen to whoever Trump brings in. He probably even takes him a little tranquilizer pill before he comes to the meeting. Because he knows it's a waste of time, except he needs to appear reasonable to the rest of Europe.
Yeah.
And he needs to keep his people uplifted enough that they will continue killing enough Russians that Putin absolutely has to do something, if only to keep his economic engine running.
Yeah.
Of course, he could offer to change the name of Kiev to Donald Trump, Bill. That would get him support.
Or a hotel in places where they bombed places for people to live.
I thought that cartoon I ran across the other day where where the drug boat said, "We'll invest," and had a big sign on it, said, "Yes, we're a drug dealer, but we're going to invest all of our profits in Trump coins."
And the other thing, just to bring it to this side of the Atlantic, CNN ran what amounts to an excellent interview with a young border guard who happens to be Mexican, who's talking about coming in originally as a student on a visa, and it took him 11 years to do it, but he became legal. And it upsets him about the undocumented flooding the border. And I'm looking at it and thinking, they're right. You have the solution to the whole problem, and it's right there to be handed to you, and only a matter of Congress to do it. People want to come in, they want to work, create a system. So instead of applying for amnesty, they apply to do jobs that need doing and do it legally. You could bring in thousands or convert people that are currently here undocumented. Let them go through the process of becoming a citizen by doing jobs that we need having done.
Well, and open the border up a little bit so they can go back and forth, because not all of them want to be citizens.
I know.
Most of them, it's kind of like my uncles and neighbors from back in the Depression time went to California. They didn't go to California to stay. They went to California to work, and about half of them or 3/4 of them came back.
Yeah.
And it's the ones that ended up getting married out there and having grandkids that stayed.
And, we learned, when there was a bipartisan bill that could have passed and Trump blocked it, toward the end of Biden's presidency and previous times, going back to George W., every time we try to come up with a new system for immigration, for asylum that makes sense, because we haven't updated it since Reagan, it's the right wing that stops it, because they don't want a solution. They want the problem. They want to run on the problem.
Yeah.
They want to run campaign and elections on the problem. And if there's a solution, then they don't have that problem to campaign on.
And remember, when those Okies, namely my mother's family, were flooding into California, they weren't exactly welcomed with open arms.
No.
No.
I mean, the grapes of wrath had a whole lot of wrath in it.
But I know people that went back and forth every 2 or 3 years to California and worked, all the way up into the almost 1960s. We had a neighbor family.
Once upon a time, it was the Garden of the United States, until about 20 million extra people they didn't need started living there and paving over the place.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you get nicknamed the Promised Land.
Well, everybody have a nice Christmas.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Went to my sister's Christmas Eve, and we had a nice they got out. Well, they decided not to do gift exchange or anything and do away with that, which I was liking. And then they were going to do, my nephew was going to get some games together to play games, but all the games they had, it took too much brain power for me to learn. So I just sat there and made rude comments. They tolerated me.
We did our family dinner on Christmas Eve, and then yesterday I went to the movies to see Song Sung Blue.
Oh, I saw you wrote about that on Trail Mix. We're planning to go Monday to see that.
It is a darn good movie, and if you read online, they go down through the what is fact and what is real. the movie is very, very close to being totally real. You
Oh,
know,
good.
they compressed time a little.
Yeah.
You know, that was actually over almost 16 years, and the children's ages, they made them older than they were in real life when the couple first got together, things
Oh, yeah.
like that. But the music is wonderful.
Yeah.
And of
yeah.
course, Big Diamond, but it's Jackman and Hudson doing the performing, not Neil Diamond, even though
Really?
it's
Yeah. Huh.
yeah.
Kind of like when what's his name did Johnny Cash. He actually did the singing,
Right.
and was pretty good.
And like with the Cash bio, the singing is not out of context with the movie. It's integral to when they were actually performing in clubs and on stage.
Yeah.
So that's, or, you know, rehearsing in the garage or whatever.
So they get into like what the sort of the background, the backstory of the songs that.
Not the backstory of the songs, but the backstory of Sardinia, the couple that did it, Thunder and Lightning, who became these local celebrities playing fairgrounds and small clubs, and that are just absolutely beloved by the people.
Now, is this Neil Diamond and his wife you're talking about?
No,
I'm
it's like a Neil Diamond tribute couple.
Oh, so he's not actually playing Neil Diamond.
No, he is portraying. They are portraying two real people who performed Neil Diamond songs, not as impersonators.
Oh, I got totally confused. I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, not as.
I thought this was like the Johnny Cash movie where they were actually portraying them as real people. And
no, they are real people, but they're not.
It's not Neil Diamond.
Not Neil Diamond.
Okay, all right, we straightened that out. I had that completely confused.
And it's just.
Well, now when I go to the movie, when I go to see it Monday, I won't be so confused, so surprised. I would have spent the first 15 minutes not paying attention, trying to understand what's happening.
Yeah, no, he was a serviceman who came back, and the part they don't show except to reference a little bit right at the beginning, but he became an alcoholic. But when the movie begins, he has been in AA for 20 years. So it starts him off in that stage of his life before he meets her.
Well, I assume it will be legal to play on YouTube to play the trailer. I assume they'll let me play the trailer.
I'm sure it's all over the web.
Yeah, I've got it right here. So let's play the trailer.
I'm not a songwriter. I'm not a sex symbol. I just want to entertain people. I don't want to be a hairdresser. I want to sing. I want to dance. I want to garden. I want a cat. I need something big. I need something new. What do you think?
You don't want to be a Neil Diamond impersonator. You want to be a Neil Diamond interpreter.
I was looking for the right way to say it, and you just came right out and said it.
Oh, that's what it is.
Tell your mama, girl, we can't stay long. Lightning and thunder. We got things we gotta catch up on.
So you be lightning and I be thunder.
Yeah.
So that's it. I did not understand that's what it is.
Yeah, it's
not
their
really
love
professional
story.
with me, but I've been wanting to do it for like a whole.
You really have to call him Lightning? It's kind of weird.
Be nice. My dad in Vietnam, sometimes he'd have to crawl over dead bodies. So yeah, he used to drink.
I could really use for you to tell me I'm doing the right thing.
I think you are.
Oh, I was scared you were going to hit your head. bad things happen over and over, and I just want to sing and I want to shine.
Just say, can't pay you anything right now, that's all.
Came in for you, brother.
I wouldn't go any shorter than this. I wanted to ripple and wave when the wind blows my shirt.
Wind in a bar. How?
Like a leaf blower. Do you have one? Sure.
Sweet Caroline, the good times never seem so good. Oh, boy!
Papa, how you doing?
How am I doing? Huge.
I just disappear in the music. You two always know what to do.
I can't thank Neil, because every thank you I got belongs to you, doll. You're my August night, my September morn, you're my crackling Rosie.
Yeah, lightning and thunder!
So are they still alive, these people?
She is. He is not. And
really?
yeah, I won't tell you the ending of the movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we don't go out to movies hardly at all much anymore. Well, David likes to go. I'm not a big fan. He's got friends he goes with sometimes. I get kind of restless. I'm so used to being able to pause my Netflix and go make a sandwich or something. That
Well, for the first time in years, I sat down in a theater filled with people. And when we came up, there was a line waiting to get in.
Uh-huh.
Well, good. Maybe we'll get. I've got to get back to going. I got out of the habit after Sherry passed away of doing it. I used to before we got together. I lived by myself. I'd go out to a movie just to get out of the house.
Uh-huh.
Well, what I like about it is, it's like getting back to that old time, not these super blockbusters with all the special effects and crap. I'll leave that to the kids.
Yeah.
This is the kind of movie that you just go to have a good time, being surrounded by people who want to just see a good story.
Yeah.
And it's not schmaltzy, it's not wacko, I suppose you would put it in the class of being, if they put it to streamer, it would be, this is the high class version of cheap streaming movies.
Yeah. Well, there's something to be said for Craig breaking out of his habits of having every 30 seconds to have something new.
Yeah.
Sitting down for 2 hours and enjoy just what's in front of you.
I mean, sometimes it takes me, like it took us, we just the other night finished the Ken Burns series because we just watched like 30, I could handle like 30 minutes and then I was distracted, So, and it was 6 2-hour episodes. So it took us like 2 weeks to watch that.
That is actually becoming a phenomenon that the scientists are writing articles about it, that your attention span is getting shorter and shorter among people. I can remember when I used to sit and read for 3 and 4 hours at a time.
Right.
And now I have a hard time doing it for more than an hour. Because
I literally get mad at the microwave taking too long. Come on.
Or worse than that, you put it on there and say, okay, I haven't got time to wait for this, and you wander off, and the next thing you know, you got smoke in the house.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's our hour. I'm gonna try to keep these to an hour.
Good idea.
And
have a great day, gentlemen.
And I'm gonna end with our little this is our biggest traffic short in the last week. Who'd have thought this would be what it's about? But I'll wrap up with this. There is nothing worse than farts, but now 2 old farts. Wait a minute. He left you out, sir. We're 3 old farts.
One of my sister, when she was still working and so on. She said she had to be real careful what she ate to go to work. She said now she understood why people call older people old farts.
5,000 views
And
and
he
counting.
would make Kentucky beans, and we called them. He called them firecrackers.
Well, fart's the oldest form of humor.
Okay, I'm Lady Mau Mau, Craig's built-in emergency brake. If this wasn't enough for you, sign up for the newsletter. It's free, it's thoughtful, and it occasionally makes sense.